Hey kids, Castrong Gaming here, no beating around the bush. Now today we need to be talking about the truth, or at least my own personal truth, about the failure of Borderlands 4. And where we're at now, as of February 12th, 2026, and what we have to look forward to in the future for Borderlands 4 and the roadmap that the developers, Gearbox, have provided for us. But leading up to that conversation, I'm going to be talking about my problems, the pros and cons of this game. And I hate to say like everything wrong with the game, but just a lot of the key pain points compared to previous Borderlands games and everything in between. And that being said, the first major one, I guess to just get this right out of the way, is just straight up the replayability of the game. Once you get one character up to level 50, that's already a long enough of a track to get through. Now I got my Bleed Vex all the way up to level 50 and messed around with different builds on her and finally got settled on the Bleed build because it's super overpowered, right? And the replayability is that you start a character from level 1, but now they have an option for you to start at level 30, which is way better. It skips the grind, because leveling in this game is so much more slower than Borderlands 3 by comparison. This feels more close to Borderlands 2 in terms of leveling. Not as tedious, but it's close, because the way to level, the best ways to level is not by bosses like it used to be in Borderlands 3. It's unfortunately bounties, and that's another huge problem. There's not enough ways to level up in this game compared to bounties. I mean, it's literally you can go fight regular enemies, but it's going to take you so much longer. We don't have slaughter shafts for the most part. And I know people are going to say, oh, the vaults in this game kind of act like slaughter shafts in a way, and they do. They act more like the trials and slaughter shafts, because you have waves of enemies leading up to the vault boss. But the difference is this time they're completely optional. You can literally run past them in the vaults. You don't have to fight them at all. So at least that was an option. But yeah, leveling is a pain in the ass in this game, and that's the problem with the replayability. When you start over from level 30 on a character, brand new character, start at level 30, you're starting from scratch. Now you have your vault items, you could twink items and stuff like that, which is great, but it doesn't feel good because you're just grinding bounties over and over again until you hit level 50, and then you go into ultimate vault hunter mode and then just do a non-existent endgame, which is you just repeating wildcard missions, which have really shitty modifiers. They're not fun at all. And all that being said, it begs the question, this is an open world Borderlands game, the first time we've had an open world Borderlands game. Before it was linear, semi-linear at most. And so you're probably asking, oh, it's an open world, there's got to be activities to do to level you up, to get your mind off of off the main campaign and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of collectibles and side quests and all this shit, but it's not rewarding enough in terms of XP and just straight up rewards. Remember how we had red text blue items from previous Borderlands games? Yeah, they're no longer in this game at all from side quests. They just got rid of those straight up, which was kind of some of those blue items are really strong. They could be really good. They could be comparable to some purple items. Hell, even some legendaries, arguably. Remember the porcelain pipe bomb from Borderlands 3? Anybody? Yeah, I think it was busted. A bit too busted, which is probably why they nerfed it. But anyways, but yeah, the open world is a problem because there's nothing to do. It's like a typical, very super generic open world. With regions that are all different from each other. One's grassy, one's dry, mountain area, snowy area. You get the point. But there's nothing to do in them, and they haven't released any engaging free activities to make it worthwhile. And this is kind of similar to what happened in Borderlands 3, where it was just, we got through the story, there was no endgame, no takedowns, no nothing, people complained about it, and it took time for them to finally add stuff to make the game actually worthwhile in the end, and gave you enough variety where you could bounce between DLCs to break up the monotony. And so far, Gearbox has not proven themselves lately when it comes to the free events they've come out with. Like, everybody remembers the Halloween event they dropped back in October was one of the most resounding pieces of shit. That meme, biggest piece of dog shit I've ever seen. It was nothing compared, and super lackluster compared to the Halloween event we got in Borderlands 3. It was free, and this was free too, but this was literally just doing the freaking, what was it, those domes out in that appear randomly out in the world, and you farm those for 2 shitty weapons that you got, and even though they buffed them or whatever, it was like a grenade and like 1 assault rifle, but they were super lackluster even after the buffs. And it didn't instill confidence in the community that they were going to do anything, that whatever they're going to bring for free events, they're going to have to really up their game. Hopefully they're listening to the community, because this is not a good starting point. It is got everyone, including me, concerned of what is to come. Now, my other problem could be like the story of the game, which I honestly don't care about the story. I never do care about the story. In most games, very seldom am I ever invested in the story. I know the humor was dialed back, and there was some, I guess, up and down controversy about that, but I don't give a shit. You know, all I care about is the gameplay, the moment-to-moment gameplay, the dopamine, and just the replayability. That's what I come back to games for. In this game, here's a positive point. The moment-to-moment gameplay is very smooth. It feels great. It feels, I hate to say like a Call of Duty game, but with like the dashing around, the jumping and dashing and mantling and the double jump and everything. It feels very good. In the heal rep kit, you know, the injector is very Warzone-esque. I mean, what can I say? Yeah, at least they did something good there. You know, a bit familiar, but it does feel good at the end of the day. Now, the UI of the game is very questionable. Like, we all thought the UI in Borderlands 3 was rough around the edges, but this doesn't feel much better. It feels like a downgrade in terms of navigating the menus. Okay. Marking your items, inspecting them, and going out, and it going all the way back instead of just going back to the actual weapon you were inspecting. It's really annoying. And now I know they promised a lot of major and minor updates in 2026, but we'll get into that here in just a bit about the roadmap and all that. But it feels, I don't know, it doesn't feel good. It feels very generic. It feels like they half-assed it. They could have improved it quite a bit. And here's hoping they do. I know they have updated some things. I don't remember the details or the patch notes, whatever. But hopefully they do actually improve it so it's not so damn tedious. It's just taking them a long time to update the game in any capacity. And the other part I wanted to go back to, I forgot to mention, was the upgrade, the SDU upgrade system they have in the game. Feels so shitty because it forces you to have to do open world stuff that is really monotonous and annoying to get your upgrades. And not all the upgrades as of now are applicable across all your Vault Hunters. Only a certain amount is, from what I recall, and I think that was a mistake and they changed that. So if you haven't done any of that, you're starting brand new. It's not going to transfer to be shared, across all your Vault Hunters that you have active. So that's a little annoying. But like I said in the roadmap, they are gonna actually improve that, which should have been there to begin with. Now, another major, well, I won't say major problem, but another point of contention, controversy, is the drop rate system for dedicated drops in this game compared to previous Borderlands games. Now, I know a lot of people, they say it should be higher than it is, but that the other party, including me, feels like certain, just legendaries in general should be rarer, and for the most part they are kind of rare in this game, but people have noticed some drops are literally percentage rarer than others. For example, the bot shotgun, I think, is like a dedicated drop of 9% just to get a drop, and compared to other drops are like, I think, an average like 12%. And I don't know if it goes lower than 9, but it's a bit of a weird thing where people are like, why isn't it all equal across all the drops? Well, this has happened before in previous Borderlands games where the drop rates in Borderlands 2, those dedicated drops were like 3% apparently for a while until they bumped it up to, I think, 8 or 9, if I'm not mistaken, until years later then they bumped it up to 12, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I remember somebody, Jolts dude or somebody talking about that a while back. But anyways, the story's kind of the Vault Hunters are not, I don't feel like they're as memorable. Like, I feel Vex is a little bit more memorable out of all of them. But other than that, I don't know. They're not as iconic. At least as of now, they're not. And I don't think they will be in the future. I hate to say it, but it's not giving the vibe. Now, time to flip it around a little bit and talk more about the positives and the roadmap we got, what we have to look forward to in the future. Now, we're going to get this one out of the way. The only thing they're doing for Valentine's Day is this community challenge. I know I said positive, but this is the last negative I have. Instead of the one we had in BL3, which was an actual event, this is just a challenge, community challenge, where if you collectively get 500k revives in co-op, you earn this very generic maroon skin that's very underwhelming. So not exactly instilling confidence with these free events. Once again, Gearbox, what are we doing here? Like, up your game, something. At least in Borderlands 3 we were shooting hearts and getting a brand new legendary that we could earn, like passively earn by doing challenges. But anyways, I digress. Now here's the roadmap for 2026. Now the major update we got January 29th was this quote major update, which was just a balance patch with photo mode. Photo mode, mind you, that's, I know I said positive, but this pisses me off. It should have been in the game to begin with, and they're making it sound like it's a big deal. Photo mode? Like, seriously, you freaking kiss my ass. Is the Legend of the Stone Demon, and they're going to be the free major update alongside it will add the rarity of Pearlescence, which we're getting Pearlescence, which is going to be interesting. But I noticed in the details, some of the certain pearlescent gear is going to be tied to the paid DLC. No surprise there that they would, do that. So, especially if they're overpowered, of course they want you to pay money to get access to it. Now it shows Mad Ellie, the story pack, Mad Ellie in the Vault of the Dam, a new raid boss, a new takedown, 3 more bounty packs, and another major story pack at the end of the year. Now we know that the Legend of Stone Demons coming February 26th, and then Mad Ellie, that story pack will come sometime in March, and it'll have a Lovecraftian theme to the Stone Demon story pack, which will be very interesting. Now, alongside major update, pearlescent gear, new rarity with the Rivals Legendary, available to everybody no matter what edition of Borderlands 4 you have, so that will be completely free, and you have to keep an eye out for coming Bounty Pack 2 story pack. We get closer, and it shows that some gear will be tied to the paid story pack, so keep that in mind, and it wouldn't shock me if some of it was really strong. But anyways, and then everything planned, new year, the roadmap, quality of life, gameplay, they are going to do level cap increase. I didn't think they were actually going to do it, but they're doing it, and they don't say how many levels, but that will be good. Cross-platform save, shared progression, and then more free events. They, hopefully are better and not so lackluster. And we will get additional skill points, of course, with the level cap increases. So it remains to be seen if this will be overtuned or not, if it will be busted. We just don't know yet, but we know it will give us more build variety, because more skill points always leads to more build variety in the end. We've seen this too many times in previous games, and they even said it themselves. So that will be nice. Now the free events, I just hope we get high quality ones like the Revenge of the Cartels and the Halloween one. We deserve better than what we saw with this Halloween event. But anyways, now the billing endgame content, when they released Bloom Reaper and all that shit, which I fucking hate that boss with a passion, but anyways, they plan on a new takedown, which everyone's excited for, including me. Cannot wait for that. It's going to be great. At least I hope it is, if they do it right. Formidable odds and, good rewards and this and that. Sounds great. And this is pretty much the point of my video here, is that this is what we have to look forward to. This is what they're talking about. They want to redo the end game, the wildcard missions, along with the freaking takedown and everything else. And that's what's hopefully going to build up to a better game in the end. Just like Borderlands 3 was lackluster, but it ended up being great at the end of its life cycle. And that's what I'm hoping for with this game. That I'm still holding on to hope, and I hope to keep covering this game because I do love this franchise. And that is pretty much all I have to say. I know there's a lot of stuff I didn't cover, but this video is long enough. But anyways, hope you all enjoy this stuff. Catch you on the next video. Peace out, Cub Scouts.